Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of your Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter on July the 4th. I'd like to wish you a belated happy Canada Day, and I know that may sound a bit trite, wishing Canada Day on the 4th of July, but I think that it's times like these when we can really all appreciate the fact that we're Canadian and all of the benefits we have of being citizens of Canada, particularly given the events of the last few weeks and months. So a couple of interesting things coming up this week. We have on Tuesday, July the 7th at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, our usual webinar time. We have the first of a series of interviews that we're going to be conducting with people from around the world. And this week I'm going to be joined by Mohammed Younes. He's an Egyptologist and was actually our guide when we went through Egypt this past January. He's a wonderful character, a great storyteller, and he's going to give us some insight about life in Egypt during these times post-Egyptian revolution and as Egypt as well copes with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. So it should be a very interesting discussion, both for those who attended on our trip this past January, as well as for anyone that's really interested in knowing what travel in Egypt is all about. Following that, on Thursday, July the 9th at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time as well, we have the 4th edition of our Wheel and Anchor travel trivia, virtual travel trivia. So we had a lot of fun in the last three versions of this, and we had three lucky winners, or three very travel savvy winners who got the most questions correct and won our $100 travel voucher. So we look forward to see you out there. Come join us. It's a lot of fun, and maybe even learn a few little tidbits of knowledge about travel to different parts of the world. And the links to both of those events are in the blog below. Finally, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a new program that we are looking at creating at Wheel and Anchor as times evolve following this pandemic. We're looking at what the impact is or might be on travel and the type of travel that people might like to do. And of course, particularly for long haul destinations that are far away. The process of getting there is certainly not going to be getting any easier. In contrast, it's going to be getting much more restrictive. It's going to take more time at the airport. It's going to be probably more uncomfortable flying on airplanes, and so one's really going to think twice about these long flights that take you half a day or a day or more to get to. And so the idea of so-called long-stay holidays, some companies refer to them as stay-put vacations, it's something that we think that is going to be of interest to our members and to people at large, because we may find ourselves with time on our hands, but less willingness to go to travel a very long distance for a shorter period of time. So what is a long stay holiday? Well, basically it's when you go to a particular destination and you spend 3-4 weeks or even longer, and you perhaps stay in one hotel or one self-catering type of accommodation, and you have some of the benefits of a usual sightseeing tour. You may have some meals included, some sightseeing trips, but you allow yourself the opportunity to really immerse yourself into a particular country, a region, into the local tradition, culture, and you can also much easier get to know people on the ground. These types of trips have been most often offered to destinations like the south of Spain, the Costa Brava or the Costa del Sol, or even the south of Portugal, like the Algarve, and often in the off-season when there's a myriad of hotels that are full during the summer season, but during much of the late fall, winter, and spring season, they're not very busy, and so one can get pretty good hotel deals and stay for a longer period of time with a lower cost. So we're thinking of applying this concept, but going to perhaps a little more interesting destinations. And I know that there are a lot of people, for example, down here in Southeast Asia that are spending a period of the winter season in countries like Cambodia or Vietnam or Thailand. And I know that may seem like quite quite a leap of faith to live in some of these countries, but I can say from my own experience of living down here that there's quite a high standard of living in your you get a lot of bang for your buck. There's a lot of value for your money down here. So our poll of the week this week is, would you take a long stay vacation? Is it something you'd consider? And of course, I know a lot of our members have homes in warmer climes that they go to during the winter months, and so it might not be applicable to you, but it might still. You might look for something else to some other place to spend part of the colder time of year. And so Southeast Asia, as I say, the countries I just mentioned. Another place that is becoming more and more interesting to people is South America, in particular Colombia, which I know has its own image from the past, but has changed dramatically over the years, and a lot of people are looking to that country as a place to retire or spend more months of the year. This type of trip would be structured such that, again, you would be put up in some nice accommodation, again, for a longer period of time, and then side trips could be arranged, not just in the local area, but perhaps further afield. And of course, the benefit of travel in many parts of the world is that it's a lot less expensive than it is traveling around Canada, for example. Meals would be included, perhaps different classes on local traditions, handicrafts, the kind of things that you might not necessarily see at home. And so this is an idea that we're playing with, and we'd love to get your feedback. So please complete our poll of the week. Let us know if it's something that you might be interested in, and then we will have further webinars down the road to engage with our members and find out who would actually like to participate in this kind of a program. So I'll leave it with you here on a gray day in Thailand, and I look forward to catching up with you again next week.